All right. Welcome. This is Devin from Deadly Yard Gamings. For those coming for the first time, welcome. For those coming back, welcome back. All right, so we got some great information, some good insight that we just got recently from a game that I've been following. Um, Essentially, they released the last trailer for the last class. Essentially, there's going to be 4 classes in the game. The game that we are covering today is going to be Outriders. Um, so far, from everything that I've seen on it, looks really good. Graphics are there. Gameplay looks really fun and aggressive. This is going to be an aggressive game. So healing pots, no, there is none. You essentially heal by killing stuff. Some where you heal from getting in the thick things, the others kind of more ranged ability to where they can still heal from range. So essentially get into it, get after it, go kill stuff, do some damage. You need some health, shoot something, set it on fire, blow it up. You'll get it done. Um, so it's going to be a co-op game. You can play by yourself. You can play with others. Um, so far from what it looks like it's going to be a really good game to play it either way. If you can manage to learn your class well and you can play it solo, will be fun, or if you like playing in a group, from what I've seen, the classes seem to look like they work really well together. So we're going to be going over the 4 classes. We've got the videos was released on all 4 of them, so it's going to go over the skills, the breakdowns, the play styles, all that fun stuff. So we'll be going over each of them. I'll do a little bit of my thoughts after the end of each. But we're going to go ahead and get into that. Before we do, if you do like the content, please smash that like button. If you want to keep up to date with this game and my others and my live stream and all that fun stuff, make sure you smash that subscribe button and leave a comment if you don't mind. Tell me what you thought. Definitely help. I definitely appreciate it and definitely love the support for the channel. Also, I do have my Discord link down below, so if you want to come jump in there and join us, you can chit chat with me there or everybody else. If you have any questions or anything like that, or if you want to farm together, whatever the case may be, jump in there. You can even chat with me while I'm live streaming through Discord. You don't actually have to jump in my Twitch or YouTube or anything like that. You can chat with me there if you have a quick question or anything like that. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Hope you enjoy. The first class that we are going to be going over is the Technomancer. The Technomancer is going to be kind of a ranged assassin caster, kind of a little bit of mix of everything. It's kind of also more of it's the one that does the summoning to where you can summon turrets and stuff like that. So it's definitely a fun looking class. It's probably going to be the one that I am going to start with, but we'll have to see once we get closer because I'm kind of mixed between that and the Pyromancer. So, but let me know what y'all think. Leave a comment down below what classes you like the most, what you thought of the game and everything, all that fun stuff. So, but without further ado, let's get into it.
Greetings, Outriders! Welcome back to our Spotlight series, where we deep dive on an individual aspect of the game. Today, we scope out our 4th and final class, the Technomancer. Enoch's Anomaly Storms might have fried tech for everyone else, but they unleashed abilities for the Technomancer to infuse powers into weaponry at their will. Thus, this class can exploit technology to the most brutal capacity. You can find timecodes in the description if you want to skip to a specific topic, but we recommend sitting back and absorbing all the information on our machinery manipulating Technomancer.
I have become terror. You can't the unseen predator. You can't a rupture that obliterates without warning.
Who is this class for? Technomancers will appeal to a huge spread of players, simply thanks to their enormous versatility. However, the Technomancer's skill set will be utilised best by players who pay special attention to the flow of combat, beyond just raw damage. The status effects that Technomancers can inflict, as well as their boss skill interrupts and their unique ability to heal squad mates, mean that they are suited to fill in support roles. That's not to say Technomancers can't bring the pain. Packing an arsenal of weaponry and their summoning abilities, combined with a strong focus on sniper rifles, mean that they are the ideal class for any players intended to lone wolf their way through Enoch. Fundamentals. Technomancers focus their powers around summoning and indirect sources of damage and effects. Spearheading this playstyle are 3 core tenets: Ordnance, Gadgets, and Decay. Their unique melee power inflicts the freeze status effect onto those hit by it. Freeze stops an enemy in its tracks, allowing you and your squad mates to focus fire on them. Healing. As we've mentioned in the other class spotlights, the main way to regain health is not via potions or spells, but by playing aggressively. In the Technomancer's case, they recover a portion of the damage they deal to enemies as health. They're a true vampire leech. However, the Technomancer's class passives also increase their damage outputs for both long-range weapons and anomaly power, making sure that the Technomancer's healing passive stays on par with the other classes. Powers. Each Outriders class has 8 powers in total. You'll start with a single power and will unlock more as you level up. Let's check out 5 of the abilities Technomancer has in their collection. Power 1, Tool of Destruction. Question: do you prefer to riddle your enemies with bullets or turn them into a puff of red smoke? Well, why not both? With Tool of Destruction, you can change your preference whenever you want to. See, Tool of Destruction works a little differently to other skills in Outriders, in that it has alternate modes. Activating the skill via button press equips your Technomancer with a rocket launcher, but activating the skill by holding down the button will instead equip a minigun. However, the rocket launcher has the added bonus of interrupting enemies it damages. Let's watch that clip again. That orange bar means an enemy is charging up a skill, but the RPG interrupts them, preventing them from casting it. Which, particularly when going toe-to-toe with bosses and captains, can mean the difference between victory and a team wipeout. Power 2, Fixing Wave. For those of you who prefer to play as support or healer to your mates, first of all, you're awesome, the world needs more of you. Secondly, Fixing Wave may just be your skill of choice. Fixing Wave is a skill design exclusive to the Technomancer, and is the only power in Outriders that can restore health back to yourself, your constructs, and your allies, regardless of distance. Power 3, Pain Launcher. This is one of a number of the Technomancer's construct skills, and will create an automated defense device to damage enemies independently. Conjuring a missile launcher, this will engage in artillery-esque carpet bombing to not only damage enemies, but interrupt them as well. Bear in mind this gadget has a slight setup delay, so you'll need to tactically time it well. But if you pull it off, you can expect to create some awesome combinations with Pain Launcher. Power 4, Blighted Turret. More of a relentless, continuous damage type of person. Q Blighted Turret, a skill that places, yeah, you guessed it, an automated turret. But not only does this weaponry pour lead into your foes, it also inflicts the status condition Toxic. This deals damage over time and can be used to whittle down their health with hit and run tactics. You could use your turrets offensively through strategic placements to bolster your damage output, such as by flanking enemies. Alternatively, you could drop a turret while falling back to a better position, and it will keep your enemies occupied while you get ready to form your next plan of attack. Power 5, Cold Snap. Cold Snap is a large area of effect skill that will freeze all enemies in place. In an offensive scenario, you can use Cold Snap to wreak havoc with your other skills or regular weapons, especially if you manage to catch enemies when they're clumped together. Defensively, Cold Snap will help you prevent melee attackers from swarming you and getting too close. This is particularly useful for players who prefer sniper rifles and long-range combat. And bear in mind, the Technomancer will feature 3 more powers on top of these first 5. Endless opportunities for computer-based carnage. Power combos. The wide range of powers in Outriders gives so much scope for mixing and matching different combinations. Let's check out one example. So, say you're a lone wolf Technomancer being chased by a group of Perforo. Using Cold Snap will freeze the enemies in place, buying you time to retreat and throw a blighted turret in their midst. While they're distracted and getting toxified, initiate Tool of Destruction to conjure a minigun and mow down any stragglers. Alter your Technomancer. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your build and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You can't fill out the class tree entirely, but you will be able to respec your nodes to mix up your playstyle. And there are no costs or penalties. Respec your tree at any time. The 3 branches for the Technomancer are as follows: Pestilence, Tech Shaman, and Demolisher, with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and survivability. The Pestilence branch flows best with your decay skills and weapons. It's all about increasing the damage you do with guns and provides great bonuses, particularly to sniper rifles or assault rifles. The Tech Shaman is more focused around indirect damage and will boost your turrets, freeze effects, and healing. Notably, the overclocked passive node here will increase your damage significantly whenever you activate gadget skills, but it will also grant you a second chance. The Demolisher path will synergize with the greatest amount of your skills, and Node Tier will mean that using your ordnance or gadget skills will impart a host of bonuses and buffs to you, as well as boost your toxic effect damage. Notably, this path also has a node which will inflict toxic on all enemies that you freeze with your melee attack. As well as this, the equipment you use might also influence the way your skills work. The equipment passives might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they might alter it on a more fundamental level.
Alright, there we go. So, that was a Technomancer. So that one looks really cool. I think I might actually go that one. I'm not sure yet. Like I said, I've watched all 4 of the classes. They all look really fun. So, not sure if I want to go that one or the Pyromancer. So, but like I said, the playstyle of it, being able to conjure weapons, being able to conjure the missile launcher. If you want to go into damage over time, you can do that. And the way it looks like it plays out, it would be pretty strong. Also having an ability to heal. Now I'm kind of wondering, most games they talk about being able to heal no matter how far you are away, generally gets nerfed to being within a certain range. So we'll see if that holds true like after it releases and all that stuff. So we'll have to see how that goes. But other than that, it looks like a really fun class. Tell me what you think. Leave a comment down below and tell me what y'all think of the class. If y'all think y'all are going to go that one. But looks really fun. I think I'm definitely going to try it. So, but on to the next one. The next one is going to be the Devastator. This one looks like another fun one. As you can tell by the name, it's going to be the tank of the group. So here we go. Let's get into it.
Greetings, Outriders! Welcome back to our Spotlight series, videos that explore specific features of the game. Today, we are delving into the third class, the ground-shaking, earthquaking Devastator. There are time codes in the description if you'd like to skip through sections, but if knowing everything there is to know is more your style, keep on watching.
As Devastators, we shatter the earth around us, a brute force powered by the planet itself.
Who is this class for? At first glance, you may think that Devastators are your typical run-of-the-mill tank class. But once you get to know these not-so-friendly giants, you'll soon realize that they can match the other classes regarding sheer damage and devastation. An important thing to note is that the Devastator can be a real linchpin in determining the flow of battle. With a number of interrupt skills, an accomplished Devastator can effectively shut bosses down. If you love slugging it out with the enemy toe-to-toe, laughing at their pitiful attempts to bring you down, well, the Devastator is your kind of class. Fundamentals. The Devastator is focused around gravitational and earth-based powers and effects, centered around three core tenets: kinetic, protection, and seismic. Its melee type is slightly different from the other classes, as it inflicts the bleeding status effect onto enemies hit by it. Bleeding deals damage over time to afflicted enemies. Healing. Devastators recover health when enemies perish around you in close range. Now, we know what you're thinking. Sounds similar to the Trickster, right? Well, there are actually some key differences between these close-quarters killing machines. At base level, the difference is that Tricksters get shields for each close-range kill, and Devastators just have more HP and armor as standard. But they start to differentiate the more upgrades you get. When upgraded, Devastators can achieve bonuses to armor and health by choosing specific class tree paths and nodes. For example, stealing enemy armor for each enemy slain in close range. An upgraded Devastator will most likely have the most armor and health buffs out of all of the classes. These mechanics mean that if you want to be an unstoppable juggernaut as a Devastator, you will need to keep chasing into the heart of combat, making sure you're always in the thick of it if you want to maintain your health. Powers. Each class has 8 powers in total. You'll start with a single power and unlock more as you level up. In this video, we're showing you 4 of the Devastator's abilities, and we'll showcase the other half in the future. Power 1. Gravity Leap. Upon using Gravity Leap, you will jump into the air and hover there for a few seconds. Activating the power once more whilst targeting an enemy, which will be highlighted in yellow, will cause you to slam down on them, dealing area damage to all nearby enemies. This is an excellent option for quickly launching yourself into the thick of the fight, or maybe exiting combat to isolated, far away enemies. Remember that Devastators heal when enemies close to them die, so this skill is key to ensuring you'll always be close enough to enemies that are about to perish. This is also an interrupt skill. That means that you can use it to prevent bosses from channeling their own skills. Just make sure that you don't have it on cooldown at those key moments. Power 2. Reflect Bullets. Using Reflect Bullets will activate a shield directly in front of you. While the shield is up, any bullets fired at you will get caught in the shield, preventing all damage. This makes it a great skill to cover your allies while they get into position, or during a team charge at the enemy. However, it isn't just a defensive skill. When the skill duration ends, or when you activate the power again, all of the caught bullets will be sent flying back at nearby enemies. This means that you'll want to chase down the biggest outpourings of lead, catch them, and then throw them right back in the enemy's face. Power 3. Impale. This is the Outriders team's personal favorite Devastator attack. Want to know why? That's why. When using Impale, you select an enemy to interrupt them. This is highly effective when dealing with bosses and their pesky skills, but is also a very useful ability for dealing with mobs too. If the damage dealt by Impale is lethal, the enemy will be speared by a stone spike, granting your squad an armor bonus and health regen for 9 seconds. Impale also has 7 potential modifiers that could be applied to it through gear. For example, the mod Spike Forest, which can be found on a legendary gear set, means that Impale can strike 1 additional target. Safety in numbers? I don't think so. Power 4. Endless Mass. Endless Mass releases a spinning obelisk, which sucks all nearby enemies towards its gravitational center. Think of it as your own personal black hole. Endless Mass is a hugely versatile skill, and will likely form at least part of your strategy when playing with friends. The ability to draw large numbers of enemies into a tightly packed clump means that most other targeted skills, from both Devastators and other classes, can be used to gargantuan effect. As mentioned, these are only half of the Devastator's skills. Subscribe to keep in the loop about the other 4. As Devastators feed off close-range kills, they need to lock distances between enemies down very quickly. Combining Endless Mass with Gravity Leap will mean that a Devastator can instantly be amongst the enemy, causing havoc, dishing out damage. Reflect bullets can then be used to minimize damage against you whilst you're the center of attention, before you turn the tables on the enemy. Eat lead, baby! Alter your Devastator. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your builds and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You won't be able to fill out the class tree, but you will be able to respec your nodes to switch up your gameplay as you go. The 3 branches for the Devastator are Vanquisher, Warden, and Seismic Shifter, with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and survivability. The Vanquisher branch is all about grappling up close and personal with the enemy, and thus provides bonuses for weapons like shotguns or assault rifles. The Warden branch will truly move mountains and is the ultimate tank, with very high bonuses to health, armor, and resistances. The Seismic Shifter branch is most useful at mid-range combat, and focuses on anomaly damage for seismic skills such as Impale. This branch also combines very well with the bleeding status effect that Devastators can inflict. Damage over time fans, you're gonna love this one. Additionally, the equipment you use may impact the way your skills work too. The equipment passives might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they might alter it on a more fundamental level. But we don't want to spoil the fun too much today, so we will showcase these in another video. So that's our Devastator introduced. No need.
Alright, there we go. So, looks really cool, just like before. I think they all look awesome. The way that the character, the Devastator, interacts with his skills, being able to use like the black hole, and which was kind of threw me off guard when I first saw it, because of the fact you usually think of skills like a black hole coming from casters, sorcerers, and stuff like that. So you usually see that type of a skill from them. So seeing that it coming from a tank was kind of something new, something a little bit unexpected, but still looks really fun. A lot of potential for those that like to play tanks, and I generally do like to play tanks from time to time. So I will definitely be trying this one out. I think I'm gonna be having all 4 of them, if not more, multiple versions of them. Who knows? We'll have to see how it goes when we get into the game. But it does look like the being able to impale them, using the obelisk to gather them up and then jump in and just bash them, does look really nice the way they got everything. Especially the thing that blew me away when I first saw it was the where they pulls up the field where it catches all the bullets, and yeah, throws it right back at them. I'm sure you all know where that came from and where I'm going with one of my favorite movies, Matrix. So when I saw that, I was like, yeah, I gotta love that. So definitely a good job there. I think the skills on them look very versatile, well managed. But like I said, we'll be able to really fill them out once we can get into them and actually play them ourselves. So next one we're gonna get into is our Pyromancer. So here we go.
Greetings, Outriders! Welcome to our Spotlight series, a collection of videos that delve deeper into specific aspects of the game. Today, we're taking a look at our next class. Crank up the heat because it's the Pyromancer. As always, we've got time codes in the description if you prefer to skip to a section, but if you want to absorb everything there is to know about our fiery friend, keep on watching.
As pyromancers, we manipulate explosive volcanic energy and devastating walls of flames.
Who is this class for? Players who like to take on hordes of enemies at once. Also, pyromaniacs. Nah, just kidding. Don't actually set things on fire. Unless you're in the game, then set everything on fire. Pyromancers tend to fight at mid-range. They don't have the movement abilities needed to get in and out of combat quickly, like their Trickster brethren, but many of their abilities are area of effect based, meaning you'll want a decent amount of space to line them up, then light them up. Fundamentals. The Pyromancer has 3 core fundamentals that underlies each of their powers. These are Explosive, Immobilize, and Ignite. The Pyromancer is focused around thermal and fire-based powers and effects, which you can even see in the class's melee attacks. Your standard melee attack will deal fire damage to anyone it hits, while also inflicting extra effects as well. It is so much more than a skill just to use in a raw panic. Healing. Even the best combatants get injured from time to time, so knowing how to utilize your unique Pyromancer skills is essential to surviving. As with all of the classes, there are no quick fixes to retaining health. You need to play aggressively to restore HP. In the Pyromancer's case, they can be healed if an enemy dies while marked by their skills. Any Pyromancer skill that damages an enemy will mark them for a set time. This means that Pyromancers can get maximum healing from affecting the greatest amount of enemies possible, and then also ensuring that those same enemies meet a swift death. Powers. Each class has 8 powers in total, starting with a single power and unlocking more as you level up. Many of the Pyromancer's powers inflict a status effect called Burning. This sets enemies on fire and provides a nice bit of damage over time. However, inflicting Burning also momentarily stuns enemies and can be used as an interrupt. But that's enough general power information. Let's check out 4 of the Pyromancer's abilities now. Power 1. Thermal Bomb. Thermal Bomb will set an enemy ablaze and deal additional damage to them over time. If an enemy dies while under the effects of Thermal Bomb, they'll rise into the air and explode in a gory mess, dealing damage to a large radius. Combine this power with a mob of grouped enemies, and the resulting explosion may well wipe the rest of them out too. You don't have to be the one to land the killing blow either. You can tag an enemy and have a fellow Outrider kill them, which will still trigger the thermal bomb going off. Teamwork. Power 2. Ash Blast. Using this skill will apply the status effect Ash to all enemies in a large radius. Ash prevents affected targets from doing anything at all for a few seconds, immobilizing them in a suffocating cloud of dust. A great crowd control ability, Ash Blast can cause large numbers of enemies to briefly freeze in place. This can be combined really well with other powers to hit a maximum number of enemies. And there are scenarios to use Ash Blast both offensively and defensively. Offensive. use Ash Blast to prevent enemies from escaping any area of effect abilities you or your teammates might be casting. Alternatively, Ash Blast can help you line enemies up for successful headshots, causing maximum damage. Defensive. Ash Blast can also be used to buy you vital breathing room. Ironic, seeing as your foes will be choking on Ash. If you're being overwhelmed, use it to freeze enemies in their tracks and fall back to a more manageable distance. Power 3. Heatwave. This is one of the earliest powers you unlock. As the Pyromancer is a medium-range class, you'll want to maintain a little bit of distance between yourself and enemies, and Heatwave is perfect for this. If enemies, particularly melee attackers, try to rush you, Heatwave will provide you with the space you need to be most effective at scalding them into crispy giblets. Heatwave's secondary effect shouldn't be forgotten either. The burn status effect will deal damage over time to all affected enemies, which may well help give you a nice burst of healing if they feel the burn a little bit too literally. Power 4. Overheat. Overheat may only deal a small amount of damage to enemies within a large radius, but it does deal extra damage to enemies that are currently burning, making it a great follow-up skill. Similarly to Heatwave, Overheat is an excellent way of marking numerous foes and strategically setting yourself up for a big burst of healing. It's one of those skills that just gets on with everyone, you know? It synergizes really well with a number of other powers to double down on damage dealt. The definition of supportive. We all need an Overheat in our life. As we mentioned before, our Pyro Pow will feature a further 4 powers on top of those that we've shown today, but we will talk about these later down the line. Power combos. Using powers by themselves is all well and good, but utilizing them in combinations is where Outriders truly shines. Heatwave's ability to hit several enemies at once with burning means that Overheat can inflict maximum damage. Thermal Bomb, on the other hand, may only inflict burning onto a single enemy at a time, but the status effect still means that Overheat can be triggered to cause extra damage and ensure the Thermal Bomb carrier dies and triggers the explosion. As mentioned, the Pyromancer is ideally a mid-range fighter who likes to keep enemies at arm's length, and this combo will show you how to do just that. While in battle, Heatwave neutralizes enemies that get too close. Following Heatwave up with Ash Blast will ensure that those enemies remain where they are. Then place a Thermal Bomb amongst the mob and focus all fire on that enemy. If you can kill them before the Ash Blast effect wears off, you can wreak havoc with the Thermal Bomb explosion and benefit from a burst of healing at the same time. And bear in mind, these are only simple examples of how powers could be chained. You'll no doubt find your own most effective ways of playing Outriders in your own style. Alter your Pyromancer. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your build and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You won't be able to fill out the entire class tree, but you will be able to respec your nodes to change the way you play. The 3 branches for the Pyromancer are Ashbreaker, Firestorm, and Tempest, with each branch providing both major and minor passives that affect your character's type of damage focus and survivability. The Ashbreaker branch will generally provide bonuses when dealing damage against marked enemies, while also providing a boost in anomaly power. The Firestorm branch is a path focused on maximizing the damage output of skills. This path will allow you to increase your anomaly power, your burning damage, and the skill damage you do on marked enemies. The Tempest branch, on the other hand, helps you fill more of a tank role. The path focuses on maximizing your health bonus and reducing the damage you take from sources. One of the more unique passive bonuses you can activate on this path is an automatic revival upon death. That's pretty handy. Additionally, the equipment you use may impact the way your skills work. The gear you equip might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they may alter it on a more fundamental level. But fear not, we will showcase these bad boys in a future video. And with that, the introduction to our Pyromancer is coming to a close.
Alright. So that's my other second one that I'm mainly wanting to try. Looks really cool. Blow things up. Fire everywhere. Death and mayhem. Yep, it's got it. So definitely looking forward to that one right there. It looks really cool with the way they synergize the skills together. Being able to kind of manipulate the mobs and then catch them on fire and then also blow them up, the healing with it and everything like that. So looks really cool the way they've got everything synergized together with that class. So I think that's going to be my starter class. I'm still tossed up between that and the Technomancer as far as my starting class. So, but like I said, we'll have to see. The class is the Pyromancer, I'm really enjoying the way it looks. I'm also somewhat of a pyro, but don't set anything on fire, just like it says, only in game. But next up, we're going to be going over, what's the next one? We got the Trickster is the next one, so we're going to go ahead and get into that. And then that like I said, this one is going to be the last one of this series. So here we go.
Greetings, Outriders. Welcome to the Outriders Spotlight, a collection of videos where you can find out much more about individual topics in the world of Outriders. This is your one-stop shop, the place to be, where you'll have explanations straight from the team behind the game. This is just the start. We'll have plenty of deep dives coming in the future to prepare you for landing on Enoch, so subscribe to our YouTube channel and you'll never miss a beat. We're kicking things off with one of the 4 classes you'll be playing as, the Trickster. If there's something you want to know in particular, we've broken the video down into sections. Use the timecodes in the description below this video or just skip along to the part you want to see. Otherwise, sit back and learn everything you need to know about the Assassin class.
As tricksters, we manipulate the fabric of time and space to take out enemies by surprise.
Who is this class for? Players who like to get in and out quick, leaving devastation in your wake. Tricksters are for you. However, because of the way skills and your passives can be customized, certain builds of the Trickster could be used as a tank role for the rest of your group. The choice is yours. Fundamentals. The Trickster is focused around space and time powers and effects. You can see this in the class's melee attack, which stuns and slows enemies hit by it. Oh, and speaking of melee, it isn't one size fits all. Not only do the different classes have melee abilities enhanced by their own unique powers, but there are 2 variations as well. You've got your standard melee when standing still, or your upgraded attack when you activate melee while sprinting. Healing. Within the brutal and violent world of Outriders, there'll come times where you'll be hurt and need to be healed. The key thing to note here is that there aren't any quick fix health potions or magic spells, but playing offensively restores HP instead. This affects your playstyle in that it invites you to play more aggressively, rather than run and duck for cover when your health is low. Your best chance at survival may actually be to teleport to where the fighting is thickest. Taking your enemies down is the key to keeping you alive. Unique to the Trickster, they get healed when killing enemies in close range, and they also get shields, while other classes have their own healing mechanics. Let's explore 4 out of 8 total powers the Trickster has at their fingertips. Each class has 8 powers in total. You'll start off with a single power and unlock more as you level up. The Trickster will feature an additional 4 powers on top of those that we're talking about today, but we'll showcase these later on. Power 1, Temporal Slice. This will be the very first power you unlock as a Trickster, and it's the class's bread and butter. All enemies hit by the slash will be temporarily paralyzed, which is displayed by their skeletons becoming visible and their movement greatly slowing down. Slowing enemies down is a key Trickster skill, as it allows you and your squad mates to pour lead into any enemies caught in the effect. The temporal slice is especially effective in combination with other skills that cluster enemies close together. The slice will affect all enemies and allow for maximum damage and kills, which can easily heal a nearly dead Trickster back to full health thanks to the mechanics. Power 2. Borrowed Time. Upon use of this skill, you will instantly gain a percentage of your maximum health as a shield that absorbs damage before your health is affected. Additionally, using the power will create a time clone of yourself in the location that the power was used. You can thereafter freely move about and engage the enemy, or set up a trap. But using the borrowed time again when your time clone is still active will teleport you back to the time clone's location. Should you be going into a high-risk combat situation, you may want to use this skill as your quick escape from danger. Just when you're about to die, you can teleport to safety. Power 3. Slow Trap. This power will create a dome around you that slows down enemies and enemy projectiles, while still allowing yourself and your allies to move at normal speed. Think of it as your own personal bullet time bubble. This is a skill that can be used both offensively and defensively. Defensive. Activate the dome in the middle of a firefight, and you and your fellow Outriders will be able to sidestep any incoming projectiles or melee attackers. You can also use the slow trap to help in resurrecting a fellow teammate if they've been downed in a particular hotspot. Enoch is also home to many different kinds of enemies, and you may occasionally find yourself swarmed by melee attackers or monsters. Activating slow trap in these circumstances can be an excellent way to trap numerous enemies. Move into a cluster of enemies and activate the dome to make them all move in slow motion. Then, go to town. Power 4. Hunt the Prey. When activated, this skill will allow you to highlight any visible enemy. Using the skill once more will teleport you directly behind them, and you will additionally gain a percentage of your maximum health as a shield, whilst also slowing the enemy it's used on. You can instantly warp across the battlefield to either get yourself into or out of trouble. This skill could even be your opening gambit when first entering a combat encounter. You can walk right into the thick of the enemies and lay waste around you. Alternatively, you can also use it to teleport to single enemies who are separate from the main body of attackers. This should buy you some time and allow you to pick enemies off one by one. As with all classes in Outriders, powers can be hot swapped, as long as they're not on cooldown. You could even change them while in combat, though we'd recommend taking cover to do so, or you may find yourself dead. Powers in Outriders are designed to have relatively short cooldowns. There's essentially no limit to how much you can use them to get the most out of combat. So far, we've mainly looked at 4 powers in isolation, but Outriders truly comes together when you and your squad mates are in the thick of battle, timing your powers perfectly to inflict maximum carnage. Hunt the Prey can be especially effective when combined with Borrowed Time. Teleport into the thick of it using Hunt the Prey, then inflict maximum damage using Temporal Slice or Slow Trap. If running into danger, Borrowed Time can be your ripcord to get you out of it again, while Hunt the Prey is on cooldown. This is a very simple example of how powers could be chained. You'll no doubt find your own most effective ways of playing Outriders. Alter your Trickster. Each class has a tree of class point nodes that you can activate to alter the way your build and skills work. Class points are acquired by leveling up. You won't be able to fill out the entire class tree, but you will be able to respec your nodes to change the way you play. The 3 branches for the Trickster link into the class's fundamentals: movement, damage, and disruption, with each branch providing both major and minor passives. In the Trickster's case, these 3 branches are called Master of Space, Harbinger, and Assassin. There are elements of the fundamentals in all branches. They're intertwined, and you can cross-link them to your personal needs and wishes. The Master of Space branch will generally provide bonuses while the player is moving, and improves your close combat effectiveness. Nodes here will enhance your damage with shotguns and SMG when you use movement-based skills. The Harbinger is the tank path of the Trickster. This path focuses on providing damage mitigation as well as shield bonuses to provide maximum survivability. And the Assassin branch focuses on skill damage output. Several nodes here provide bonuses when you use damage and movement skills, and the path provides additional anomaly power and skill leech options. Additionally, the equipment you use may impact the way your skills work. An equipment's passives might reduce the cooldown or duration of a skill, or they might alter it on a more vital level, but we'll showcase these in the future.
Alright, so there we have it, the last and final class, the Trickster. So, looks really fun, a lot of slicing and dicing. Love the blade where it goes through and it kind of, the flesh and the outer shell of the enemy kind of wither away, as you could say. It looks really interesting. So also something to note in the as far as all the classes is that the healing, like it said in one of the videos, there is no potions, so this is more of a aggressive style fighting game. So it wants you to get in there and fight and kill. So essentially, you don't want to stand around trying to hide because you're not going to get anywhere doing that. You need to start shooting. You need to get in there. Yes, you might have to get a little defensive from time to time, but you got to keep shooting some time to get your health back or use your skills and start learning how to chain combo and all that fun stuff. So, like I said, the only class that does get a heal skill is the Technomancer, which is, like I said earlier, it does do a heal, which doesn't have to be within a certain range of somebody. So we'll see if that changes though. The Trickster does have essentially a shield with it, but that's just because it takes a little bit more damage, so it gives it a little bit more of a buffer. So, but let me know what y'all think of the classes. Which one would, if you plan on playing the game, what class do you plan on playing? What do you like about them? What do you think of the game? What's your opinions of everything here? So, but like I said, I will be playing it. I will be streaming it and all stuff when the time comes and we get it. Hopefully, we'll have some beta access, some testing, and all that stuff to do before. Hopefully, I get invited to that, and definitely would love to help out with all that fun stuff. So, but if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll leave a comment down below. Would definitely appreciate it. It helps support the channel. Also, if you like the content, smash that like button. If you want to keep up to date with the game, my other reviews, game guides, live streams, all that fun stuff, smash the subscribe button. And like I said, my Discord is down below, link down there. Join up. We're more than happy to chat with you, help you out if you're playing other games. More than happy to play with you, or when we play this, need help farming stuff, jump right in, come join us. We'll be happy to have you there. But other than that, like I said, my name is Devin from Deadly Art Games, and you all have a great one. See y'all next time.